And we are back. It is the Folder and Wackles podcast. What shirt are you wearing? Is that a Swiss shirt?
Poland for
Oh
Kivior, but
yeah.
he's not. But he's not
Sorry.
here.
Yeah. Anyway, how's it going, mate?
It's going all right. How's it going, you?
Yeah, all right. The dog update. Dog is out of its cone. She is kind of, how long was it? 3 months, almost 4 months. That poor thing has been trapped in a cone. She's out, so hopefully no background noise tonight. Apart from that, good. And the Arsenal are back. City this weekend. News in the boardroom. Obviously, we're both excited about that. Woo. Yeah, not too bad. Come on, just tell us what's going on with you, mate. Come on.
I don't know, not a lot. Yeah, watching Arsenal, watching a lot of football actually. This last week has been quite full on back, because they decide to have an international break and then stop all of the momentum and then go again.
Yep.
And it's like, but to be fair, I'm actually glad they had an international break. I think I needed the time off. But even now, it's like there's so much football. We play on Sunday, and then Port Vale is like whatever, but then you've got Newcastle after.
That's a must-win game.
And it's just a lot going on. There's so many games. There's a game every 3-4 days. This is when the schedule is tough until the next international break, where we get a little bit of a break. But I mean, it's been a very, very good week for Arsenal. Not conceding a goal, 3-0 win and a 2-0 win. I mean, you got to take it.
Like, I mean, we obviously did the review of the game, which is a bit strange, so we can kind of skip that tonight. But we'll, I guess, briefly gloss over, because that game, like, the more I think about it, the more I think, oh man, I really took it for granted that we were just going to walk it. And I just forget sometimes how hard and difficult these games are, especially like just the sport in general. It's such a low scoring sport that for some strange reason I was like, it's going to be a 3-0, by the end of the first half, we'll be 2-0 up. And I don't know why I do that to myself. I really don't. But like, in hindsight, do you think we chose the right 11 for that game? In context with City, that is.
Yeah. I think it was broadly pretty okay. I think when we went in, it's something to like remember. Like when I look at the team, I look at when we're going into the game, what makes the most sense, but then how the game pans out, what makes the most sense then, which is not Arteta's fault. Like it's his job to change, but not his job to start it. I made a video about like why Martinelli and Trossard actually made sense coming on, not in the sense of like, oh yeah, they scored the winners, which obviously helps a little bit, but the sense of like I just felt
Great
like
analysis.
just end the video. It's like 5 seconds, but it's like the spaces were kind of on like they weren't like wide areas, but when the game kept going on later and later, Bilbao kept pushing up and up and up, and their line was getting like quite high. And they were also just like they were trying to make it tighter in the middle, so it kind of made sense that we would have someone drop deeper to receive and then put the ball over to someone that runs in behind, which broadly Trossard and Mate did quite a lot. Not even just for the goal. I think 5 minutes after it, there's like 2 moments where it's very tight in the midfield, and Mate just goes running centrally down for himself for a striker. Like. So I was like, I kind of feel like that actually made a lot of sense in terms of that game style. So I give Arteta like huge amounts of credit for like identifying that. And I still think like Gyökeres broadly had a very good game. Like I've seen a few people say, I agree. I think he played really well. So I think it was like whatever. I think I've said this quite a lot over the last couple of days. I think every start to Arsenal games is going to be a bit caged, a bit dogged, a bit 0-0, bit boring maybe until the games open up later on, and then that's where you see our real like versatility benefit. So I think like ultimately, yeah, it makes sense. I can see. I think in terms of where you might maybe want some other players to come in, I think Calafiori didn't have to play. I don't think how the game panned out, you had to play either. I don't think it particularly made much difference. You kind of had to play Timber. Saliba wasn't too ready. Don't want to rush him back, so I get that. But yeah, probably Calafiori's probably the only player I probably would have considered not playing just because of his injury record.
Yeah. So essentially, what I've taken away from that is we changed to a 4-4-2. Just played Trossard and Martinelli up front together.
Seems to be the way.
Okay, cool. Sorted. Do you know, I saw a TikTok video from Jack Davenport earlier, and he was saying, "Oh, 4-4-2 is back." And then at first I was like, "Oh, maybe there's been more like kind of partnerships up front that I haven't really noticed recently." And then he started going on about Eddie and Kerr playing up front with Mateta and stuff. And I went, "Hang on, this hasn't happened. Where's this going?" And it just ended up essentially Jack is in dream world and thinks that everyone just should switch to 4-4-2 now. I mean, I love the bloke, but Jack, don't become a coach if that is just your plan. All right. Let's get
Four
into
four
it.
twos can work, but I don't like unless you've got like Walt Marder and Visser, Jermaine Defoe and Peter Crouch, which I still want to see so badly. But Visser's injured for a month. We'll have to wait. We'll have to wait for that. I can't wait.
Nah, yeah, it's fun. Like everyone goes Crouchy and Defoe, don't they? That's like straight away. I always remember Niall Quinn being in one, but there we go. That shows my age. So let's get to it tonight. Our first agenda, mate, because I could talk about my dog and stuff a bit more, but I won't do that. Tim Lewis. There's so many things I want to say just about this picture, but I'm not going to. Mainly because he's apparently a very good lawyer. Headlines here. So, The Mirror. Who is Tim Lewis and what was his job at Arsenal? As he stuns Mikel Arteta by quitting. And I want to come back to that in a minute. Telegraph say Tim Lewis's dramatic Arsenal exit hands more power to Josh Kroenke. And down the bottom right there, ESPN, Arsenal name Garlic as new CEO as Tim Lewis leaves. I mean, it's a hard one because we're not really privy to absolutely everything that goes on behind the scenes at Arsenal. And we're definitely we see a lot more now. I can't imagine us ever doing the All or Nothing documentary 10 years ago. When Arsene Wenger was in charge, we didn't see anything, not a clue of what was going on at the time. But now, a little bit more open, we do see some stuff. Just in general, like, do you think Tim Lewis has done a pretty good job since he's come in?
When you said that, I just had the image in my head of like Arsene Wenger in our backroom staff, like talking to the recruitment team, and it's literally just him in a room, just by himself. Like, so who do we
just
sign?
loads of mirrors.
No one else in there. It's like, well, fair enough. We got rid of them all. Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, I know some people don't like Tim Lewis. I mean, I don't know. Like, we said this before that I just don't know his impact on the team. I always do like, well, I don't like change, but I feel like change is necessary to happen. And I kind of like that we're quite proactive. And a few people have mentioned that this was the last real guy that was kind of signed by Stan. And I don't think Arsenal is Stan Kroenke's like anymore, realistically. He hasn't really done anything with the club for many years. And in a sense, he's kind of given his son full reins of Arsenal. And I think since Josh has had full reins of Arsenal, we have been better. And I think Josh has actually been pretty good. I know a lot of people have very negative opinions about the Kroenkes. I get that. Like, from my perspective, in the last 5 to 6, 7 years, where I've really been analysing football, Josh Kroenke hasn't done anything really wrong in my books. I think, yes, he's a bit of learning on the job. Like he's had to try and understand the culture and how things work here, but he's done much more than Stan ever did. And I also think in some sort of ways, there might be like a point to prove with him. I know he has a little bit of say in Denver Nuggets, and I know a lot of them meme him because he said something about, well, we'll get rid of Jokic if we need to, and he's like their best player. And I know everyone was like, better not do that with Saka. I remember that being a whole thing. But I feel like, in a sense, he wants to prove himself to maybe his father, like, because he is going to take over, you would think, KSC eventually, probably.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he's been kind of moved into that role quite a lot. And I honestly think, like, there's kind of crazy thing to happen there. Richard Garlick has got another promotion. I swear he got a promotion like a year ago to his job he currently had, and now he's got another one. So they clearly must like Richard a lot. Fair enough. But they're getting more KSC guys in, and I genuinely think that's a better thing in terms of keeping us closer to Kroenkes. And I think us being so disconnected from them in a different country, the half the side of the world, and just being a different culture, different fit, just being a completely different team, I think it's better to be a little bit more in-house and be a bit more close to them. So then they might be a little bit more favourable to help us. And I do think Josh having more responsibility in this club is better because he gets things done. like one of the big reasons why Eze happened was through Tim Lewis. Like Tim Lewis had that great relationship with Steve Parish, so like that did help. And I know Tim Lewis, in terms of lawyering, has done a lot in the Man City case. He's been quite outspoken in that, and he doesn't like City, and that's ruined our relationship apparently with City. But not even just that. Apparently, he's been very like he's one of the biggest, like loudest speakers in terms of all the Premier League like people that run the clubs. So I know he's done a lot there, but I think it's good that we're giving Josh Kroenke more responsibility because I believe I don't think Josh is just going to throw your club away. Like I have in the last 8 years, he's done a lot for us. He has come out in interviews, showed his face. He's been a figurehead for the club multiple times. He goes to nearly every home game. He's always there, despite him living in America. He comes over, watches the games. He's always in constant contacts with Arteta and Berta over the summer. So I don't mind it. Like I think he's earned this, and I don't think it's a bad thing at the moment.
I mean, it's really interesting because I heard the same about Tim Parish, isn't it, and the relationship over there. But I've also heard that he's. I mean, this is all hearsay, but I've been told as well that he was someone that's held up a lot of deals and someone that didn't actually want to release the money originally for Eze, and is very much like because he came in after we had like the Pepe deal, and there was a lot of rumors just circulating about that deal in itself. And I mean, maybe that will come to light in another 10 years or something. But I just there's something about having a lawyer right at the top of the club that just irks me. There's something that's like, why is it not a football man? Well, why is it not someone that's just, dearly loves the club, even if they don't really understand the football side of things? Having a lawyer has always seemed just odd to me, I guess. But then, having said that, when he came in, we were in dire need of some kind of guidance, I guess you'd say. We were like eighth at the time. We've gone to second. So, is that down to him solely? No, but has he been part of the project? Yes. It's the wording of it. If I go back a minute, the wording, some people are saying that he's kind of left anyway. And then you've got other tabloids that are saying, the Mirror, that he quit. And I would love to know exactly what it is and why this has happened now. I do have my own opinion that it's probably to do with the amount of summer spending and some of the deals that have happened. I think it's going to be pretty frugal, but I mean, I don't think we'll ever know. It's the similar situation to Edu, isn't it?
I think he got released. I don't think he left because when Edu left, that timing made no sense, and that's when I was like, well, I feel like maybe he felt like he was going to get pushed, he didn't get the job he wanted, but this time it makes like a lot of sense in terms of getting rid of a figurehead. It's just as the summer's ended, you're kind of rotating squad. That's why you saw Brighton just randomly get rid of their director of football and get Ato in like last week, and I was like, well, it makes sense if you're going to do it now for the future. David Ornstein's kind of reporting that it was like a shake-up, so we were always going to move things around. He got kind of left out, and we promoted Richard Garlick, who they might prefer. I don't know if Tim Lewis wanted to leave. I mean, I would imagine maybe not, but who knows? Maybe he was like tired of all this. Maybe he was like, God, give me a break. So maybe I do think the club have made quite a lot of big, like the board at our club didn't change dramatically for a while, and it had like slow movers for quite a long time, at least under Arteta. And now suddenly we've got a whole new board, whole new team. It's completely different. So I mean, it's exciting. It is exciting. I think change is always exciting because you just don't know. And like you said, like even with Tim Lewis being a big spearhead in terms of the Eze deal at the last minute because he got swayed by other people, he has been the sort of guy that's always been like apparently quite negative about spending money. He's been quite let's save money all the time, and maybe they're just gone. Bert has come in and gone, no way, we're not doing that. We're spending money all the time, and now I think it's quite fun. Like, but Tim Lewis did do great at Arsenal. Like, I know, he's not going to be the most favourite guy in the world, but like, he's still part of the team and the reason why we've done well in 5 years. So fair play. Why are you muted? Oh, well, fair enough. It's just me. Yeah, but basically, so Tim Lewis has gone, everyone. Richard Garlick is now been promoted. There's also a guy called Ben Winston who's part of the board who I did want to speak about because Ben Winston is a director, but I didn't really know who he is because, I'm not really like, I used to do film, not anymore. I'm not really that privy to that. But he I looked at the stuff he's directed and it's like documentaries or like I don't know, like TV show sort of thing. So he's that sort of guy. But he's supposedly been like an Arsenal supporter for 30 years. And he's not going to be in the day-to-day relations. I'm really interested to see why they have got a film director on the panel just genuinely. I've seen some people say that maybe they think it's going to move into a different like maybe it's going to go independent and they need a broadcaster or someone to help them in that way. Maybe it's going to help with some of the deals. I don't know. It's just very weird. I don't know what to say about that, but I do think that our video intro videos might be at least a little bit better because I've been looking at his tweets and he liked the one we did about Eze, so maybe he wants more of that in there. We'll have to, have to see.
Sorry about me leaving then. Can you hear me again now?
Yeah.
So I don't know what just happened. The whole microphone, I could not unmute it, so I had to leave. So I do apologize, mate. I don't know what happened.
I was just speaking about Ben Winston. You hear about that?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a businessman. Going back to the slides, and this is what I wanted to kind of talk about. I had a couple of little quotes here. So uh, one of them I did not like, which was this one. Ben Winston, the new Arsenal power broker, who's friends with Tom Cruise and James Corden, who's
Well,
not
he's
my.
a he's a director, and he's I looked at his IMDb, and he literally directs like it's like TV specials and series.
Yeah.
He directed the Late Late Show with James Corden, like over 1,000 episodes. So I can't. That's probably why they are friends. I can't.
Yeah, and that I'm not a fan of James Corden. I put it that way. And then they said Arsenal appoint David Beckham ally following shock exit behind the scenes. I mean, I think he'll be quite good at like brokering deals, and we have been very good in terms of like our revenue over the past few years. There's definitely been a shift in some of the deals that we've been able to do, and looking at market opportunities and making the right choices very quickly. I have a feeling that Ben Winston coming in, that's another like shrewd signing. Can we call it a signing? Recruitment? I don't know. Um, but essentially, I think that's going to help us move in the market again in terms of like television, more kind of
Yeah,
documentaries,
it's
Netflix
definitely
type things.
commercial, isn't it? Like it must be. I've heard some people say they think it's going to go independent or something away from Sky, so maybe they've got him in early. I just
Mm.
don't really know. It is kind of weird. Is it? What, are we going to just have better directed videos? Is that it now? Is that why he's come in? It's like,
Well, yeah, I mean, I read that the embassy deal in the US expires in 2 years, so 2027. So again, maybe it's kind of a view to look at that as well of going, well, who do we know who's got really good friends in, these areas? Oh, Ben Winston, let's get him in, let's employ him, and then we'll get the best possible deal in the US. It seems like a really, really good choice, but I think they'll probably end up getting someone else in as well. I can't imagine that's it. I think it is going to be a proper reshuffle, and there'll be, you know, certain jobs delegated out, and I think they're going to be branching out a little bit more. But I mean, the whole Josh Gronke thing. I can't believe I'm going to say this because I have not been a fan of KSC at all. But was going to say over the last few years, but essentially since their full takeover, they've definitely been more hands on and they've definitely pushed the club forwards. I remember previously there was a story about when the club had Uzmanov as one of the owners as well. We were buying a Shavin, and they just would not pay the extra money. They just would not pay extra at Arsenal. And the deal was almost off, and Usmanov ended up paying out of his own pocket and said, "We'll get the deal done." And I just feel like that should never have happened. I don't care if the club was, part owned, full owned, anything. The deal should have just got done. And things like that. I just hate those little stories of, oh, we're not going to do it because we're not full owners. But having said that, I mean, the barometer of of a good owner is not Stan Kroenke, but his son's definitely done a lot better since he's been more hands-on with the club. So I think he seems to like it. He seems to be around the club a lot more. He seems to have a good relationship with Mikel Arteta. Each time there's a player that's brought in and, they're shown the club, he's always there now. And that can only be good. If he's got positive relationships with the club, he'll be more invested in it, and then he'll want to, spend more money and get the right people in. And it's when you get that disconnect, especially I think sometimes, when like the fan base are disconnected from the ownership, all that's going to do is create a rift in terms of the owner actually going and doing more. Like for them, they're just going to go, all right then, fine, I'll just do the bare minimum because you don't want me here. So, and yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. Tim Lewis leaving, I think, yeah, I that hair, I just, yeah, that hair.
Yeah, it's all about caring, isn't it? Like the more you care about something, you're going to be invested, and I think Josh has cared more and more about this club as the years have gone on for the last 5 to 6 years. I also think the Cronkies have realised that the best way to make money is to be good in football and spend loads of
Yep.
money. But it's not about money. Like at the end of the day, like I don't think any football team at the highest level is really sustainable. Like the thing is, it's an asset. It's an asset that you're always gonna have. Like we're not gonna get devalued. We are gonna be worth. We're probably gonna go up in value anyway. So it's more
Yep.
of an asset that you keep, you buy for like however how much they bought it for. You keep it for many years. You try and get them better and better, and then you sell for like even more for like billions. And I think that's the point of it. You're not going to make profit every year. That's just not viable to be successful in the sport. And in America, that is like NFL teams, the reason why, like, if you go in the top 10 most financial biggest teams in the world, like 8 of them are NFL teams, is because they make so much money and can spend none of it because they've got a strict salary cap. So they just have to stay within the boundaries. So they make like 400, 500, 600 mil a year just every year, but they can't spend that money on anything. Maybe they could buy a new stadium or whatever, but that's not going to happen. So a lot of the time, they are just putting that money into the back of their pockets. Maybe you get some draft picks or whatever, but they genuinely can't do much. It is genuinely like a good financial business to be involved in.
Yep.
Football isn't. So hopefully, like Denver Nuggets start doing well again. I mean, Denver Nuggets are actually a very good team. They're actually my NBA team before I even knew Kroenke owned them, which is funny.
Yeah, I
Before I
see.
even knew, I had
I see what's
in
going on here.
2015, my first basketball team was Denver Nuggets, and then the Kroenke's owned them. I was like, oh, okay. But they are not the best now. But like in that sport, you don't expect to win every year. You win once, and you probably won't win again for another. Like that's basketball. You probably won't win again for
Yeah.
like 6 years. And it's the same with like American football. So hopefully they make all their money from them teams, and then they invest into us. But
Oh,
like
wouldn't that be nice?
commercially, we are worldwide bigger than them. They're obviously massive in America. Like LA Rams, for instance, are a massive team in America in terms of American football. But like commercially around the world, Arsenal are way more recognizable. So and
Yep.
we are up there. So hopefully it's good. I think it's good. I'm always positive though.
I mean, the whole, I don't know, what do you call it? The culture around American sports is so different anyway. Like the idea of moving a team to a complete different city and state, it it just wouldn't compute over here. Like, and I think they moved originally and then they moved back, didn't they? The Rams. But that would be like moving us, probably like mileage. I'm guessing here. I could be way off, but I'm guessing it would be like moving Arsenal to Rome. Like that's the similar kind of distance, which is just insanity. But you can also see where the idea for the Super League has come from because it's this whole capitalist, ideology, and for us as fans in the UK and around Europe, that's just not how it's done. You know, playing games of, like a North London derby in Dubai, or playing against Barcelona in, like, I don't know, LA, just in the Champions League randomly. Not a final, but just
Because
in the
La
knockout
Liga are
rounds.
doing that, aren't they? And the
Mm.
Serie A are doing that as well. And then the guy, a lot of promo. I mean, even Josh Kroenke come out and said like a couple of weeks ago that like the Prem should never do that. I don't think the Prem will do that because I just think there's so much money in the Prem anyway. Like I say that all the time, and they do just get more greedy and greedy. Like we don't need the stuff that they have in the Prem at the moment. They already make so much money, but. I like the American model of sports in their like stratosphere. Like I like it in terms of their sports because it is one country, and Canada sometimes. Like there's Canadian teams as well in the MLS and stuff. But that works. And the problem is the thing is with like in their cities, people are like basically support the team that are in their city, but it's not like it's very rare in America that this does happen, but you might support a team from young and you might move, but usually it's a lot of people that are half interested in a lot of sports. So
Mhm.
they'll move to Dallas, let's say, and then they'll just support all the Dallas teams because they live there, but they might have just moved there now and be like mid-20s or whatever. So it's
Yep.
very much they're like their whole thing is so different to us. Ours is like, you know, you pick it up 100 years now. Like Arsenal have been going on for like 135 years or whatever, like a very long time. Like and it's like, passed down through generations and generations. And like some people, like even me, I couldn't even think about supporting another team. But in America, it's not like that. So our team's doing bad. Like what team's doing good? What team's fun? Like here, it's just not like that at all. It's like, I mean, it's so funny. But I do obviously like, yeah, I don't know. It's fun, but it should never be in Europe. Europe's just its own ball game, really.
Yeah, I mean, and in terms of just what will happen, time will tell. Like they never cease to amaze me the amount of greed in football, and I just think things like, if you told me that Chelsea were gonna sell parts of their football club, and like, did Barcelona sell their stadium or something along the lines of that? Didn't they?
Yeah.
Um, I just that would never have computed with me when I was younger, but now, unfortunately, it's just the norm. Like whatever it takes just to get, yeah, it's just bonkers. It is what it is. But and like the multi-club model, like again, that's just that never would have happened. But now that's just it. It's like conglomerates essentially. Well, let's move away from that though, and a little debate here. I mean, we might agree, so this will be interesting. So this was a video from Sport Bible, good friend of the show, Alex Moneypenny, starring on it. I mean, I'm not going to say my personal opinions of the debate. There is definitely two different debating styles, if you want to call the Man City fans style debating style. I don't even know what it was. It was just ignore everything that's been spoken and just say what you want. Regardless, are Man City now a bigger club than Arsenal?
Oh my god, this is like so funny to me. I absolutely hate conversations about like bigger or like another one is I hate like who was better in their prime. I think that's just so like uncontext. There needs way more context to have an opinion. I think in this sense, it's like, well, what is bigger? I always say this to people. Like people go up to me and they'll be like, Nottingham Forest are a bigger club than Arsenal. Based on what? Oh, they've won 2 European titles. Cool. Well, how many league titles have they won? Oh yeah, none. Like what is the debate here? Like what is the
Yeah.
perimeters of like what it is? Like Man City, like in the last 5 to 10 years have obviously been way more successful and better than Arsenal. But like, are they a bigger commercial team than us still? No, we are one of the biggest in the world. Like what is this basis on? Like, oh, are they better in the if you take the 130 years of Arsenal and Man City existed, are they bigger? Well, then no. So so you can't really do that argument for them as well. But like,
Yep.
are they a better team than us over the last like 15 years? Yeah, obviously they are. They're like generational, but like I just feel like it's just in my eyes, the question of who is bigger is just too big of a question to actually have an opinion about. I feel like it's too like vague, and I know a lot of
Mhm.
people, especially on the internet, like vague. They love vague questions because
Anything to suit their agenda.
yeah, exactly, because you can kind of form it in the way that you want to be like, oh, this works because it's so vague and so
Yeah.
big. That's why like it's really hard for me to know. Like I guess like cool, but like if Man City don't keep this up for the next 10 to 15 years, which already doesn't look like they're going to, like then in many ways that they're like insane domination of England was like 7 8 years.
Mhm.
Lots of teams have done that. There's decades of people have been dominated. Tottenham have dominated for decades. Liverpool have dominated for decades. Like, there's so many teams, but people wouldn't consider Tottenham a bigger club than City right now. But like, it's just like, well, just because it's happening now doesn't mean like the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 60s didn't exist. So I don't know. I don't know what do you think?
Arsenal are a bigger club.
Yeah, I think the same.
I mean, I completely agree with you. To be honest, it's all context. I think anytime you have these kind of chats around football, and it's so difficult because people are so tribalistic, so it always has to suit their agenda. Like whatever comes up, if you're a fan of said club, you're going to fight tooth and nail to make sure that they win in this kind of debate. Um, I just look at it. I mean, you hit the nail on the head in terms of like you have to set parameters. So I would say, okay, are we gonna, I mean, this shows my OCD and my like my real, I don't know, my strange tendencies. I would have to go right certain point system. So you get like a, who wins out of most trophies won, who wins out of like the biggest revenue, who wins out of the amount that they've done, and even some of these are so subjective, like what they've done for football. So I know the Man City fan was going, well, Pep Guardiola's changed football and he's had, left this legacy and League Two teams are now trying to play out from the back. And it's like, well, yeah, but is that Man City's legacy or is that Pep Guardiola's legacy? Would that have happened if he wasn't at Man City? Possibly, because he still had a huge impact around, Bayern Munich, Barcelona. Like, it's really difficult. And Alex quite rightly said, well, in that case, no one will be playing with numbers on the backs or names on the backs and floodlights. And it's so true. Like people forget that a lot of the like key infrastructure and what we just know as, oh, that's just football, that comes from Arsenal and people like Herbert Chapman. It's such a difficult question. Like I think if you just go right, who's won the most trophies, who is the club that everyone just knows around the world, I would say it's Arsenal. Like that's it. And we're not the biggest club in the country because at one point there's and this is the other thing, you start digging and it's oh, well, oh yeah, you're the biggest club in the world then, aren't you? Like, well, no, that's not what we're saying. It's between these two clubs. Like Liverpool, I would argue are the second biggest club in Britain and then Man United are the biggest club. But I could see it being argued either way for them now that Liverpool has started winning more trophies than Man United. So I guess then it comes to revenue and the amount of fans. But I think if you went to a remote place in the world and asked them about certain teams, it would be Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, and then I don't know who underneath. Possibly Chelsea, possibly Man City now. But it's really difficult to have that argument in context. And how much do you go for like history of someone like Nottingham Forest, and then you look now and go, well, they weren't in the Premier League for a long time, and they haven't won anything in a long time. So can you still say they're big? Like, it's so difficult. It's so difficult, mate. But
Yeah, it is, and like when I think about bigger, like if a broad term, I would just think like when I go to school, when I went into school, which I wasn't in school that long ago, bear in mind, and I was at uni 2 years ago. Like how many people did I know that supported City or liked City? No one, and I didn't. And I know it's like a very base level of looking at it, but they just don't in their biggest time ever, and they've been super successful over the last decade, they still have less like people don't care about City. They just don't. Like I say, it's all
Yeah.
the time. Like I people might talk about the Liverpool and City rivalry, fair enough, but people don't actually care about City in that rivalry. No one actually cares. Like, I never even cared about City, and I actually rooted them on before, like, 3 years ago when we were actually competitive rivals with them, because I had no rivalry with them, because they weren't our
Yeah.
rivals, because I never cared, because I was just like, City. Like, and that is the thing with it. Like, they just don't have that level. Arsenal have been awful broadly for the last 20 years, and maybe even longer at this point. No, about 20 years, I
Oh,
give it.
yeah.
And like, we've still got so many fans. Like, I began supporting this club, I know, through like my dad and like obviously other reasons, but in one of the darkest times of the club. We didn't win a trophy in the first 6 years I supported this club. We won the FA Cup. Wow. Like, we're still getting fans like that all the time. Most of my friends in school supported Arsenal, and it weren't just because it was all because their dads or like relatives of them, and it's all random. Like, and I genuinely just think, like, I don't know, with Arsenal, you see it in the media as well. You see it on YouTube, you see it in the media. How many Arsenal creators are there? How many people talking about Arsenal have got big subscribers? How many media posts about Arsenal fans to try and rile them up compared to City fans? Like, I'm low key a bit of a journalist, I would like to call myself sometimes, and I do actually look into City stuff. I look into them. I talk to people who are City fans. I don't just sit there in the Arsenal community, and it's just not as bad as ours at all. Like, there's just not the same severity at it. So, at 10 years and 15 years time, they'll maybe get to that level if they continue to be at this competitive level, which I'm sure they
Mhm.
probably will be in some form. But like, it's just not like that. Like, yeah, like you said, United are the biggest. Like, in my eyes, Real Madrid and Barca are the biggest clubs in the world. Then it's like United, then Liverpool, and then like we're near there. We're on the same level as a Bayern probably, or a maybe a Juve. You can probably put any
I
Serie
mean,
A
to
teams
be
in there.
honest, and this is my real honest opinion, I think we're even below those. I think just in terms of like, if I just think of like, football heritage and huge clubs that have like won everything, and I think of like, like the AC Milans, the Juventuses, the Bayern Munichs, that I feel that we're probably on a level and on a par with them in terms of revenue and how well known we are, but are we really like as like big as them? I don't know. It's so difficult. But like, and then you'd go, well, now we've got a far better pulling power than they will ever have. We can just pull players as much as we want now. But I don't know. It's so difficult. It's such a difficult argument to have. Guna Millsy and Alejandro, thanks for tuning in, guys. By the way, the chat was working and it is gone again. It's just driving me insane. So Guna Millsy has said, goes Man U, Liverpool, then it's an argument between Arsenal and Chelsea. I don't think it is, mate. I just think Arsenal are bigger than Chelsea. They just have to be. And then Spurs have got a bigger global fan base than Man City. And you're probably right there.
They do,
It's
yeah.
just, it shows, doesn't it, that regardless of the trophies that they've won and the money they've spent, they still don't have that.
I will say Son
Uh,
does help that quite a lot.
yeah, that is true. That is true.
He's literally like
Um,
changed the MLS already in like 3 weeks. The commercial income that LAFC have got since he's come in is insane.
yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Like, well, I mean, who is the player that we bought in? Um, was it in Inamoto and then Ryu Cho? I can't remember what they were called. That's so bad, isn't it? There's always been teams that have bought in players from the Asian markets to try and just sell shirts, and which is
Yeah.
really strange, isn't it?
And now
I
they're
think,
insane, so everyone's just getting Japanese players, especially because they're just like elite at 24 and they're cheap. I mean,
I mean,
so
one of my
ridiculous.
favorite players ever is Nakata. It's just unbelievable. Serie A, prime Serie A, Nike blue mercurial vapors. Just what a player he was. Right, talking of City, then let's go into what's going on with City, because We've got a big match against them coming up. Man City can shake up the Premier League title race with a win at Arsenal on Sunday, says Gary Neville. It's a game that Arsenal have to win. It seems like it always is. It's a tougher game for City than it is for Arsenal. But for City, if you really want to let people know that you're back, then go and win. Is it a must win, mate, for us?
I mean, it's not like we don't have to win it. Like, we could draw or lose and still be fine. Like, and still could win the league. But broadly, like, we need to win every game. If realistically, like, I don't look at any game and go, "Oh, I just hope we get a draw." Like, I hope we win every game. So
That's what drives me insane. This whole every time we're in a big game, they always say, "Oh, it's a must win for Arsenal." It's never like, if you notice that, it's not a must win. It doesn't say it's a game that City have to win. Bearing in mind that they're the ones that have really, really struggled kind of in recent, I say recent times, but like in real recent times, they've struggled more than us. Why is it that we have to win? Like, yeah, it's all the time. It drives me insane. How do we win it? Is it just essentially, do we do a Tottenham and just press them real high and put them under pressure? Or can we play the way that we have been playing with a little bit less intensity in the press? Like, what do you reckon?
if they give us the ball a lot, like they did to United, I think we easily win. Like this is why I just don't know how this game's going to go in terms of what they're going to do. I broadly kind of know what we're going to do, but I just feel like City are a team that never give up the ball ever, but they have started to. I know they didn't against Napoli, but Napoli got a red card like 20 minutes in and it covered that. But they literally, like, against Man United, they had like 30% possession, which is very interesting. Especially, I mean, maybe they thought against United that's the best idea to do to stop them getting countered. But their press is dreadful, and it is just so bad. They've got one guy that is managing not only like the right centre back, but the right back, and he gets overlapped every single time. It happened against Wolves, like loads in the first 30 minutes, and I was like, okay, this is weird. And then they won 4-0, and everyone was like, oh, they're great. And I was like, well, I don't know, this press was weird. And then they did it again against Brighton and lost, and then everyone was like, well, actually, and then, they did it against Tottenham, lost. It was awful. They did it against Brighton, lost, and then everyone kept making these tweets being like, oh, their press doesn't work. Like, what's he doing in? I was like, wow, that's crazy. That's like I saw that in the last 20 minutes. And it's the same thing. The same thing has happened. Like, against United, what happens is they press United inside the pitch instead of going out wide. And what happened in that situation is that if United had a player that could turn in and be a little bit press resistant and keep the ball under pressure and get the ball out to the wide areas, they would have an overload easily against them and get in. But they just
So
could.
you
They
tell
just,
me a midfield of like Casemiro, Ugarte, or Bruno Fernandes isn't going to work?
oh my god! Just play Cobby, free Cobby. Just play Cobby. I've just had enough. Please play him.
Even still, I mean,
I mean, I feel like
I
Cobby
think the
would
boy's
be.
got talent, but
But it's like what Fabregas said. It's like, I would rather lose and play loads of children so they get better, even from a financial perspective, or at least they develop. I'd rather than just playing some 30-year-old washed guy who's like never going to improve and then team's crap. Like, at least Cobby runs around. They don't even move. Like, Ugarte moves about 6 steps per game, and then that's it. He calls it a day, which he did with his entire career. So I don't know why they signed him. But like, with the press, I just think there were so many gaps in Pep's press this season. Everyone's spoken about how Haaland presses the goalkeeper, which inherently isn't bad. But the problem is their centre backs don't jump high enough, so the gaps are really big, and it's causing a lot of issues for teams that go long, especially in the wider areas. Well, something Rye's good at is passing the ball long from wider areas, and something that we've been good at recently is going longer a little bit. We have been doing it a bit more and being a bit more direct in that approach. So I just think I know what Arteta's like, and I just think that he will have answers for the press of Pep if he doesn't change it. Now, Pep has done some weird tactics, specifically when he plays us, but he's played 5 games this season. He's played the same way in every one. Like, how quick of a turnover can he just change it within 3 days? Like, they were better against Napoli, and it was harder to really see because they had the ball so much. But they played this way against United last week and won, so maybe he thinks it's just going to be fine. So in that sense, I just think we're going to get too much time on the ball. I think Zubimendi and Rice are too dynamic in the midfield, which they haven't really played against that much. And I think they're going to cause them a lot of problems. Like, we should be winning this game. I have no idea what sort of team we're going to play. Like, obviously, we know broadly most of the people, but I don't know. It's one of them things where, like, I just think, I don't know. I think that it's one of them games where I'm like probably the most confident I've ever been against City in my life, I think.
I am as well. I'm so confident about it, and it's so ironic that you say about the playing long and the way that the press works, because that's exactly what City did to us a couple of seasons ago. I don't know if you remember it, and they just started playing it long to Haaland, and it was the one where De Bruyne scored on the cutback, and I just think, yeah, this is our time. This is our time to go and really make a statement as favourites against City. Like the last time when we got the win, and the Mars Lewis Skelly celebration, like, what a day that was. But we still weren't favourites. Then this time we can go there as this is to be expected. We're going to turn up. We're going to beat City, and it's such a shift in mentality. And I think the squad are ready for that. If that happened previously and everyone expected us to win, I don't think that would be quite right. Now the squad is so good. This squad can win the Premier League. Like, it definitely can. Even if we don't play like full free flowing football this season, and play out, say our potential's 100, even if we don't play like 98% and above, I think we can still win this league, just because on average our performers are so good. There's no drop offs in the squad now, bar if we get an obscene amount of injuries, all in the same kind of cluster of locations. But we'll wait and see. Let's bring up the old tactics board here. So this is City's last lineup. So what they played midweek in the Champions League.
Yesterday.
This is Arsenal's most recent lineup as well, playing in Spain in the Champions League. Any changes for you? Do you think we make any changes? Because there's one that I'm looking at that I am a bit undecided on.
Well, we're gonna definitely put Saliba in. I'm pretty sure that's like gonna happen. He was on the bench against Bilbao. I think we're kind of moving into that. Mascara is excellent, incredible player.
Yeah.
But there's no point of risking him. We've got Saliba. Let's just play him in this game. I don't really know what we're gonna do, because I still don't know if Odegaard's fit. The reports are that he's gonna see tomorrow after the last session. The same with Ben White. I heard is he's gonna see as well, and then it doesn't look like Saka's going to make it in that sense. I find it really hard because he will go for this. He will go for this game, and we will press intently from the first minute because City are gettable at the press. And we saw it last time when we beat them 5-1 at home. The press in the first 5 minutes was intense, and we were really successful at that. We should have scored more than the one that we did. So he's going to do that again. Now, is the best way of doing that a Marino? I think it is. Like, but then does he want to play Marino? Like, I don't know. And the problem is, I know some people have said Eze in a 10 and like Martinelli. I mean, I just don't think Eze's going to play centrally, especially in a game like this. I think there's a way Martinelli could start actually for the pace.
I mean, he's got some good performances under his belt against City. It's not like, ironically, he plays pretty well against City and Liverpool. Like, on the whole,
It's because they give him space in behind. Like they're teams that are much more willing to come out and play, so they give the space for Martinelli rather than teams that are going to sit deeper. I genuinely think I would play this team. I know people are going to be. The only consideration I'd have was Winery. I would consider Winery if Odegaard's not fit, and I just don't know. I can't be asked to keep predicting it. It's every week. We just don't know. I would consider Winery because I know people have said that he definitely seems like he wants to play Winery a little bit more in the home games compared to the away games.
Yeah.
And that might be a thing. That genuinely might be a thing. And I think in terms of, like, I mean, I'm not forgetting what goalkeeper we're going up against here, but my arch enemy, my number one biggest hater, Donnarumma. And I know how good he is at shot stopping, and I don't want to have the problem of not having good strikers in the team, and that's where you bring a Winery in. And I think Winery is an 8 if you have the ball loads is incredible. Like I think that's fine. Will we have the? I kind of think that we should play Marino from the start, intently press them, and then if it gets kind of a game where both teams have got the ball. We're not able to press as much, and we got on the ball a lot, and City are a bit tired. Then I think at that point you bring a Wineri on. But I think to
Yeah.
set the pace, starting Marino might actually make more sense. I know people are going to be like crying about it, but I just think it might.
I think that was the plan with Liverpool, wasn't it? More or less. I know Eze wasn't there straight away, but I just think Marino came off too late. That was the only problem. It wasn't like he was particularly bad, and we saw like him kind of pressing. As we know, Gyökeres is it's not his strong suit. He's kind of assisting and leading the press, Marino, at times, which is mad to think. But I think it will be that lineup. I really do. Whether City are going to play this lineup, I don't know. That's what I'm concerned about. Like, are they going to play O'Reilly in this one?
I think
I wouldn't be
because
surprised if Gavardio comes out on this one and someone like Aki comes in. But
I mean he's a weirdo, isn't he, Pat? But I think
mm,
I think if anyone's not going to play, it's probably Kushner. I think they'll probably play Lewis. Um, there. I think as well what I would do, I don't think Pep's going to do it, but I would 100% play Bob over Bernardo Silva in that position because I just think Bob's
it's
a better.
funny because I was going to say the same, but do you know what? I'd be really hesitant at playing Foden in this, and I might even put Bernardo in there. Or where's he gone? I can't find him. I cannot find him for the life of me. Where's he gone? I'm still looking. Have I completely missed him out? Or playing Savio and for a half as well. Sorry, I was looking for Savinho. That's why, but it says Savio. So yeah, I do wonder if playing Bernardo Silva out wide, if that really, I don't know.
I feel like
He's
Silva has to play as well though, because he's like their Odegaard in terms of like how they not even their
yeah,
press because their press sucks, but like in terms of how he is on the ball and he's a workhorse. So it is kind of
and
weird
that's
him
why I
not being the
think him in
team.
here makes sense for them.
But Foden's also been their like best player in the last like 3 games, and I don't know if you
Mm.
want to. He's been on fantastic form suddenly, as well as Doku and Haaland. So it's like, do they just want to drop him? I feel like the connection between some of these players might be a little bit off. Reinders is so funny because he will play because he has to kind of. And on the ball, he's great, but off the ball, this guy's not tracking runners, and he never has. And I knew I've spoken about this guy about 400 times since he joined City, and I said that we'll wait for the big games because if he's not tracking runners, if he's not great on the ball like he never has proven, I'll worry. And he was poor against Tottenham specifically in that game. And I do think a Marino against Reinders kind of counters him a little bit because Marino's quite methodical in his way, but he just picks up good spots. And if he's coming down to like this spot here, I just don't think Reinders is going to come anywhere near him. And yeah, Rodri will cover, but I don't know, like you just hope Rodri is just occupied with like the other 6,000 players you put around him. And then hope he doesn't bother. But I feel like Marino could really get away from Reinders. I just feel like this guy's such a weakness in their out of play
I
style.
do wonder as well with Eze, if Calafiori starts picking up these positions and you start kind of dragging out Lewis even further, Eze picking up these positions, I do wonder if you then get this problem of, well, Rodri's moving across and then we can have the overload on the other side. It's going to be really interesting to see how this works. I do want to see Eze coming in and receiving the ball more though, because quite often what was happening is Calafiori was picking up the half spaces and Eze was holding the touchline. It wasn't. I think it's getting blown out of context and out of proportion on the internet because everything does on social media. But he definitely needs to be picking up these pockets more. That's where he'll do his best work, and I just don't want to see him out, on the touchline or down here all
It's
the
all
time.
game state dependent and
Mm,
the because like he should be in these areas more. You're right. The clip on social media is kind of dumb, and like the people that are looking at it just don't really get how positional play works because
yeah,
in that situation, that one moment, Eze had to be out wide because, like, really,
yeah,
it was like this with like everyone was kind of like into this left side, so the space was here. If he'd gone into this area, what the problem was Rice was already here. And I think what Arteta was saying to him is you don't need to come inside because Rice is here. So you're just occupying the same area. We need you out wide just in case the ball does get to this guy out here and he could break. So I think when Eze was here and then Calafiori moves inside, people like when Calafiori was like here, people kind of saw that as like, oh, why is he in a better position? But I kind of just felt like that was a dummy run. Like I don't think we're actually trying to get him the ball. It's more like he's pinning this centre back, so Eze gets all this space. And like the problem is here, yeah, it's like Eze receives the ball here and then he'll try and cut in, and it's like, well, Calafiori's just chilling. But that's when Calafiori can make runs as well, which is okay. I do agree with you though. Like he does need to come inside. Do you know what? He won't. He might do this. I don't know. I know Arteta pretty well, but he is a crackhead, and I just feel like
He's saying Hincapié.
I just feel like maybe not even Hincapié. I don't think Lewis Skelly will play in left back much anymore. But I just feel like there's a world where Calafiori doesn't start. I feel like there's a world where he doesn't start for whatever reason. I feel like his play against
Could
Bilbao,
you imagine if he did this?
well, he's not doing that. Get him out. Get him
Could
out.
you imagine though? The absolute fury online.
I just
That
think
would happen.
Calafiori is like, I feel like I don't know though, because he is obviously very important. Like when he's picking up these positions against Bilbao was important, and I do think it would have worked.
He's been fantastic this year.
Yeah, I feel like it would work better as well when we have the ball. Because the problem is against Bilbao, especially in that first half, is we only had I think it was about 2 minutes in the entire half where we actually managed to get in a position like this and just have all our players and pin them back. And most of the time, a lot of this was happening all up here, and everyone was like, you know, in this, not even a mid block, it was like a high press at times, and they were like going for us, and it kind of made it difficult. So if this is the case, like Calafiori will be used tactically to pin them. But there is that weakness of the one-on-one ability. Like, I worry about Bob versus Calafiori. I don't know how fit Bob is. Like, he was playing loads, now he's not playing. I don't know if that's down to fitness or, you know, maybe he's just getting pep rouletted, which is more likely probably. But I do worry about Bob. I do worry a little bit about Savinho against Calafiori. If it's Bernardo Silva, he's not really like that of a dribbler. He's more of like, he'll just move into good areas. But I feel like that will be fine if we have people covering. So it'd be actually really interesting to see who we play, because it's going to be like a chess game to see like who they play comparably to us. But I mean, it's the first time we've played Rodri in a full, like probably, like other than the one he got injured against us in like a year and a half. We haven't played Rodri in a long time. So it's going to be interesting.
This game, it's going to be cagey at the beginning. I think people overestimate how it's going to play out at the beginning, especially City. I think City will try and stay a lot more compact than they usually do. I just wonder how they're going to build up as well. Like, are they going to try to play it long, or are they going to actually try to play through the lines, or? And it all depends on personnel for them. Like I look at their bench now, and it shocks me with the lack of quality on that bench. Like it really does. If we go back to I know this is exactly. I know they had. Let me move them out a minute. They had Kuzanov out here, so that's the lineup the City used midweek. And then looking at the bench, like, oh yeah, sorry, Foden's in there. Yeah, they might need another player there. Looking at the bench, it doesn't really worry me too much. Like Bob and Savinho are the real ones there. But even still, it's not like back in the day where it's like Julian Alvarez comes on. It's a completely different ball game now. I would say our bench is much, much stronger than theirs.
Yep. They have 4 players that can play right back, but none of them are right backs. Like, what are we doing there, guys?
To be fair, we've got that left back, really.
Why haven't they brought up? I mean, kind of, but Calafiori did play left back his entire career before he joined Bologna, basically, or Basel.
Yeah.
He played like when he went to Roma, he was just a left back. So it's like he has been there. Like Lewis was like not a right back, bless him, and he's just been shoved there. And then all the others are centre backs. So what are they doing? I get why, but like you could have just brought a right back, right?
How do we get the best out of Gyökeres in this game? Because I and this is agendas. Like, I want him. I am willing that man to have a fantastic game, mainly just to shut up all the people that have been saying, "Oh, he's a flat track bully. He can only play against the bottom half of the table." Da, da, da. Like, how do we get the best out of him in this game? Because this is going to be a real difficult game for him. They will play with a higher line than we're used to, like playing. So he will be afforded more space, but City are not stupid, nor is Pep. They're not going to just allow him to have free runs at goal. And to be fair, I don't think Arsenal will be playing those balls anyway a lot of the time. But like, how do we get the best out of him in this?
I just really hope we stop like pinging the ball into Gyökeres from long. I just don't. I think sometimes against some opponents, especially like weaker defenders, like you saw against Leeds, it was fine because their defenders are not as maybe like he can compete with physically. But I think like with Gvardiol and Diaz, he won't be able to. So I kind of just feel like if there's going to be a lot of space, if there's a high line anyway, high line, that would help him because he can run in and he's brilliant at that. But I
Yeah.
genuinely just think about we have been doing it but a lot over the last couple of games, but I want us to get the ball out to Madueke a lot quicker um, into this space, and then just getting Gyökeres in there. Like he's just gonna have to be the fox in the box and just sit in there and wait. Like that might not mean much about him. He might not get it on the end of much, but I just don't really think in terms of on the ball, him coming deeper as this particular game, especially with like Marino as well. Marino's not going to run off him. So we need him to like just run off the back line. And I genuinely just think having someone on the last defender always here waiting will be important. Like City will take risks sometimes on the ball and have two players back and the rest will just push up. There will be times where we break the press. I'm sure of it. I'm sure that there will be times where we have our defense a bit like this, a bit it's more like this in a sense, and that we are able to get the ball to Calafiori because they've got one player marking two players, Gabriel Calafiori here, and we can just shift the ball over and we can get into this space. And I'm sure that we'll be able to get overloads in there. It's just about finding him. He's ultimately, at the end of the day, his job is the striker. If the service isn't good, then it's not really on him. In a sense, Haaland is not effective when no one's doing anything. But as soon as they work well in the tighter areas and put him through, you expect him to score. And that's kind of
Yeah.
what we just need to expect from Gyökeres. It's basically based on everyone else. Like, I think Marino in like I genuinely think it could work with a Gyökeres. I like how Marino is a guy that will find space and put passes through. But Marino, I said this in my video the other day, he actually isn't a guy that's great in the central areas. He likes receiving the ball out wide on both sides, and he creates overloads on the width, like to help us. And then you usually see like Rice and Zumeli push up to kind of cater towards the space in the centre. And I think that is a problem because I think that doesn't help us. I think that just creates it's too congested sometimes, especially for like someone like Eze. In these areas that Eze's picking the ball up and you've got Marino just standing there, not helpful. Like it's helpful when you've got players that like can use that a bit more, and I don't think Eze wants that. I think I think like Madueke, for instance, I think he puts him there. I think that's fine, but I don't think with Eze it's that great. So I just think in terms of Marino and Gyökeres, I don't like they're going to press together, so hopefully they can win the ball back, and like we did last year, and maybe Gyökeres can get some success there, but. I do worry a little bit in that sense, but I feel like we should be able to break the press enough where it's like, well, we should be able to create enough chances, hopefully.
Final thing, mate. For you, who is going to be the most important player of this game in terms of maybe getting a breakthrough or controlling the match, etc.? Like, who do you think is going to be that person? Like, for me, I think Zubimendi is the key for this game in terms of build up. If you look at Man United and how they were building up, they really, really lacked ideas. They had no idea of how to play out, and they really could have done far better. I think having the addition of this guy completely changes the amount of options we've got now. Previously, we've seen it. Essentially, we've had one or two ways of playing out. Now we've got a multitude of reasons. I think that's partly, we mentioned it on our review of the Athletic Club game. But if you did have Ethan in here, one of the few things that he can do and build up very, very well is when the ball was played to him, he's very good at instantly putting that ball out and making a move. Like I, I worry about Marino's ability to do that and his ability to turn quickly. But at the same time, in terms of our press, Marino's probably the player that's right. Um, is Zubimendi key for you, or like who is your key person for this game?
Yeah, it's definitely, I think, super Mendy. I think it's just so weird because people will make judgments if Marino starts about it being negative, but it's purely just like Marino is better off the ball than Waneri. Waneri is better on the ball. If you think you're going to have the ball more, then you probably risk a Waneri in that. But
Yeah.
considering I think he knows Man City are gettable at the press, and every single time we've played Man City at the Emirates in the last 4 years, pretty much, they were like the first team we actually started doing this against. We have pressed very intently. Like they have been very much a catalyst on how Arteta presses, and he's developed his press over time. And it was originally to beat Man City, and yeah, it's developed in different ways. They're not obviously the biggest team anymore, but it still has a little bit of that in it. So I feel like
Hmm.
that is going to be something he focuses on. I mean, I would love for Odegaard just to be fit and ready, and his shoulder not to be falling off his arm for once, and just be there, and then it would solve all these issues. Because I think later in the game, we're at home. Maybe the game situation is different. Say we're 1-0 up. You expect Man City to have the ball a bit more. But at home, later on in the game, you expect us to have the ball more. That's when I would
Yeah.
love to see a Waneri come on because he can really. Like, Waneri against Forest was class. He was so good on the ball. I really can see a lot of Odegaard in him, actually, from deeper areas. I really think that was his best performance from a deeper perspective, not like this attacking guy that's in the final third. He was really good in them areas. But yeah, it's like that press. Maybe he's learnt the press. Maybe he's understanding it. I've slowly seen improvements of him in the press. It's not like he's bad at it. It's just that if this was against a team that was mid-table or lower, you would be like, yeah, risk it. Whatever. Play Waneri. We can probably not mitigate that a bit. A bit like Forest, where he came on 15 minutes in because you were just like,
Yep.
what's the point of playing Marino? We're playing Forest. Like, we're getting the ball loads. But in against City, it's just like they're too risky. They're too good sometimes. I know they're not amazing all the time. That I'm like, I would probably start Marino. Marino's not a bad player. He just needs to be used right. But in that sense, there needs to be, if we Marino starts, there has to be much more of an incentive of giving the ball to Eze. There just has to be. I know people don't like the midfield of Marino, Zubimendi, Rice, probably because everyone keeps thinking it's bloody 3 DMs or whatever when it's just not. But I get people.
I'll put my hand down now.
I get people don't like it as well, like because it's like not like fun, but it gives us the ball a lot. It presses well, wins us stuff, and I said shouldn't be that much of an issue if you've got creativity in the front three. I think the problem is Eze against Bilbao because this is the only time that these guys have all played together really because Eze didn't play against Liverpool. Eze didn't play well against Bilbao. I think he couldn't get the spaces. I also just don't think we kind of went down the left that much. I think
No,
a
we
lot of
really
it is
didn't.
down to Rice being quite poo. I think Rice was quite bad, especially in the first half, and Zubimendi was class, and I think that kind of made us just go down the right more naturally than the left, just because of that simple thing. So I think that kind of is where I'm at.
Yeah, the only other issue with Marino is that for this game, I think Timber is going to be told to be conservative. Doku has been great in the opening few matches for City, and I do think they'll tell Timber, don't go too far up, don't be overlapping up in these locations, and Madueke can't be left on his own isolated as much as he was in our previous game. He needs that support because when you've got Marino and Jokeres, it's not great. And like you say, Marino a lot of the time is coming out wide. He's drifting into these locations. I think Timber's key. Get him up there. Like, just let him do it because otherwise it's just gonna be frustrating. And I know what our crowd are like. People by halftime will start getting really antsy about it and going, why are we not winning this game? Or we haven't been creating enough chances. And just given the license, I have every faith that Jurgen Timber has got the anticipation and the understanding of the game to work his way back when needed and preempt attacks from people like Doku. Um,
Sometimes.
to be fair, with Reinders, with the positions he picks up, I must admit his job is going to be key as well. But in terms of attack, I do think Timber he needs to just a bit more, just a bit more.
Yeah, I actually said that thing in my 2 videos I did this week about the Bilbao game, how I felt like
Hey.
I actually said exactly that I felt like Mourinho is because he was drifting even to the left side sometimes so far away from the play. It kind of left Madueke in a situation where he had like a 3-on-1 against him and no help. And like I was like, it's fine against Forest because we have people relatively close to him where they're like, where like they're relatively close to him, so they're dragging players away the entire time. Like when Aries here, he's dragging someone away. But when Marino's just, ran off, which I respect, he's gone down here. I get the reasons, but it doesn't move anyone. They're all still here. And Timber, yet again, against Bilbao, was quite scared to move because he got probably told to. So it's like in that situation, I don't think that helped Madueke. There's still some times he had runs. And even then, you could just sit there and be like, well, it's fine. We're going to suck it up for the first half. And then in the second half, when the game gets more stretched, like we saw against Bilbao, then we got the space for Madueke to run, which could be a way that works in the future. I do agree with you in that sense. I also think Gyökeres and Marino are not similar, but I think the way that Arsenal would use them is similar. And I think maybe not, but I feel like if I'm thinking about how we're going to set up against City and how we're going to attack and how we're going to actually create chances, I kind of think they do the same sort of thing. I don't like Marino sitting here as a box-crushing midfielder when Madueke's out here in the sticks by himself. Like, I don't want him here. Like, he does this way. It's definitely a tactical thing. I don't like it. I think it's annoying because then you also have, like, Gyökeres here as well and then Eze here. And I'm like, we're going back to the same old system. Like, Madueke respectfully can't cross the ball, so I don't really like that. So I just think, there is a world. There is a world. There is a world.
Oh, I was just going to say
there
this.
is a world because the whole argument I have for Marino playing is the press. And he, even with a Gyökeres against Bilbao, what we saw was that the press was like this. Marino was the Odegaard, who's like the herder, but he's the guy that goes in first and starts it. And then Gyökeres is here, and then this allowed Eze to be. Because this is why I don't think Eze will play in the centre, because he can't press like this. He has to be this like, out here to make it easier. So I think if you want to make it streamlined, you could do Marino as just this guy. He could be the main presser. And then a Winery, maybe. I don't think a Winery alongside Marino works like this. So maybe you change it up to go back to our system that we did with Gyökeres a bit and Havertz. But, I mean, it's just annoying because the two best pressers we have in the team, I know people don't like him for whatever reason, but Havertz and Odegaard are reporting in these sort of games because they're like so good at winning the ball back for us. And then later in the game, when you're maybe 1-0 up or the game's a bit calmed down, we can have the ball and bring all the fancy players on that like the space, like Martinelli and Gyökeres. And we love space, yum yum yum. And it's like they love it, but we need to get the space first. So I think they're good players that get it for us.
It's so true, isn't it? I mean, especially look at some of the players that we are missing and don't have available. It is mad to think. Before we finish up, I'm going to steal something here. I'm going to steal here. This is, just content thievery. On the Canon podcast last night, have you heard of that? The Canon podcast?
Nope.
Just came across it last night. Just, briefly. Nothing to do with that podcast. They were talking about the fact that when everyone's fit, we are going to have 5 players out of the match day squad, which is pretty insane. Who would you leave out if everyone's fit, everyone's on form? Who is it?
Okay, well, number 1 is Jesus. That guy does not exist. I'm convinced.
Okay. Let me make these guys the same color on one set. Okay, Jesus is out.
See, I don't believe in backup goalies. If I was playing Football Manager, Kepa would not be on the bench, but I guess he has to be.
I'm so glad you said that because I said the same thing in the comments last night.
I don't think we could just not have Kepa on the bench.
No, he's out. That's fine. I'm with you on that.
He's gonna play
I'm
goal.
Fine. I have hot take here, sneaky feeling. I reckon Marino does an amazing job in goal.
But he's a
There's
bit.
something about Mikel Marino. I bet he goes in goal, and then suddenly he's playing these unbelievable. Like he's baiting the press. He pulls off a wonder save. Like Mikel Marino If there's anyone that can play in goal, it's that man.
Don't you
I
think
don't
he's a
know what
bit
it
like
is.
he's a bit like stiff? I feel like he's just like he like moves like a dump truck sometimes.
Well, who
Like
you put in? Trossard?
I genuinely was thinking Justin, but he's too small. We need a tall
He's
player.
like physically, no offense to the guy, but I don't know if he's tall enough to be playing in goal.
I know who it is. 100%. It's Capier.
Oh, mate,
100%.
that is a great shout.
He'd be running out for catches. He'd be
He'd be
punching people.
loose cannon.
Imagine
I
he
love
made his
that.
full debut in goal. He come on. Well, he's played 4 minutes, but he comes on. I think that's
Oh,
probably
imagine that. So yeah, we lose David Raya. Saliba comes off, and unfortunately we've got Mosquera in. These three here, that is just pure chaos. Just those three. Rush goalkeeper.
and
They're all just running on.
Calafiore. We got a
Yeah, no,
crazy
yeah.
team.
Oh my God.
We're going mental. We start running at people. I don't know what to do. I mean, maybe we'll call up Giroud. He played in goal for a game.
Oh yeah, he did, didn't he? He did all right as well. Where's Saliba just gone? Have I lost Saliba now?
He's up.
Okay. Right, so we're getting rid of Jesus and Kepa. They're left out. That's right. We're planning on Hincapié to come in and go. Does that mean we got to keep Hincapié in?
I mean, I would have we spent 50 mil on him. I wasn't going to put him out. Respectfully, some of these other players are going to have to hold that. We just bought this player. He's going to. The thing is, it obviously is very game dependent, but like,
Imagine explaining that to the rest of the squad and going, right, just you've been dropped, and we're really sorry about this, but Hincapié has to be in the team because he'll play in goal, won't he?
Yeah, exactly. Backup. Yeah, because we
decided of course.
Because we decided to take
Don't worry,
Kepa
Gaffer.
out, so this is the problems that we're
Yeah.
faced with. I think Trossard's not making it respectfully. Oh, I picked Lewis Skelly up. I think Trossard's not making it.
Right.
Yeah, I just like I love Trossard. 3 goals and assists, but he's clearly like.
Then he genuinely is our most impactful sub.
Yeah, but Odegaard, Arteta loves Martinelli over him, and Martinelli is fast. So
He is.
So I like quickness.
I wonder if we have to drop this guy out, wherever he is. I wonder if we have to drop this guy out.
Oh,
And I know he's your guy.
No,
I know he's your guy, but here we go. I'm going to explain
not
myself
happening.
here. Because again, it's that same. You got Marino in the squad. He can go up. He can. He
Juan
can play as the
Marino, he should
backboard.
be out.
He's a better finisher than Havertz. He can play in midfield and do the box crushing role like Havertz. Like, I think if you got one of them, the other one has to go out.
Okay,
That's
well,
my
buy
genuine-
Marino then. Havertz is I think people have forgot that Havertz is like the better version of Marino. They do the same
No,
job.
he is the worst Marino.
No, just because
That's how it works.
Marino's a better finisher. That's about it. Everything else, Havertz is better than. I feel like obviously Dalman's going. Obviously, like I would love to keep
I
him
don't
in.
want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I would have taken Norgard out instead, but like respectfully, like Dalman has to go. You are 15, go back to school. Like we can't, we can't take out like Norgard, who's just spent like 11 mil on. He's 31. He's just come in to give us some experience. Sorry, we're gonna put a 15-year-old who's a winger. We've already got enough
We know
wingers
you
in
were
the
a
team.
captain last year, but unfortunately not in the
Yeah,
match day
we've got no other backups for proper DM6. You've got
Yeah,
players who
true.
can play there. It's just like, nah, we've got another winger in the team.
All right, let's say it's an evening game, so it's past his bedtime anyway. So Max Diamond can't play, so he has to be out anyway. He's going to be grounded if he doesn't get home soon. So now,
I mean,
It's
low
getting
key,
tougher.
like if we're talking realistically, it's going to be White because he's never fit. But I think
well, do
It's
you know what?
probably
I'm looking at it now.
Norgard.
Maybe it is Norgard.
probably is Norgard.
And hear me out, because Miles can go in there. Because you could play like a Rice, Lewis Skelly, even like a double pivot.
Yeah.
I think Miles can go in there. We've still got Marino, haven't we? So I mean, he can go in there. I think it is Norgard.
I can't wait for Kai to come back and then our team to start looking like this again. Oh yeah, it's gonna be so fun. I just don't care about the rest of the team. Just Havertz up front. Do we even need a midfield? It's fine. That's our team. Look at our new Arsenal team we've made. It's just good formation.
Playing a 4-3.
It's a new tactic. They're not going to figure this one out. Actually, won't even need a keeper. Do a 5-3.
That's it. No, we need a goalkeeper.
This is why we shouldn't be allowed to go forward. Yeah, wait, where's White? Yeah, get White in there. Yeah.
There we go. Yes.
Now
we're talking.
needs to be there as well.
There we go. We've got a team cooking here. I'm impressed. We've got one,
we have too many players. Someone's got to go. Sorry, Eze.
Oh my God, Eze's been dropped. And Madwecky's playing.
I like how we kept everyone, like all the left-sided defenders are on the left side. There's a big gap. There's Saliba and then 2 players on the right. They're not even like evened out. We're like,
no, hang on. We've got no. White's got to get out there, surely.
They're all in the same spot, just waiting to play.
Yeah, I'm happy with this.
If we go 1-0 up, this should be the tactic.
No, I do think that we need to switch this around a bit. Could Mosquera could go out on the.
Mosquera can play anywhere. Put him in goal.
Yeah, Mosquera goes centrally. No, Saliba goes centrally.
Yeah.
Yeah, there. Miles can step in here. Calafiori, yeah, I'm happy with this now.
And then look at the break opportunities we've got. We lift it up. Havertz heads it on. Madueke in behind. Okay.
I love the way Bukayo Saka and Eze and Rice, and they've just all been left on the bench.
This is the future of Arsenal. This is what's going to look like next season. We've made the team.
So there we have it. So our 5 players that are missing from our matchday squad are Jesus, Kepa, Trossard, Darwin, and Norgard. And
that's our City 11.
Starting lineup, if everyone's fit, is Davao in goal, Ben White at right back, Timber at right centre back, Mosquera as
right centre
back. That's really worrying. We said that at the same time. Saliba is centre back, Gabriel as left centre back, Miles Skelly is.
Oh, it's going to get complicated over here.
Calafiori's left back, and Hincapié is left wing back.
Oh, look at this.
There we go. Madwecki and Havertz are roaming attackers.
You've got to do everything. You've got to just cover the entire pitch, just running around. Fair enough.
If anyone's tuning in for the first time ever, just so you're aware, we do not advocate for this lineup. Okay, this is.
I don't know. I think it looks sick. I'd be so happy with it. Think about how good it would be from set pieces. Oh, I bet Jova's going to be really pushing this tomorrow.
No, he's going to be so annoyed that Marino's not on.
Oh, here. Yeah, that's a good point. If it's him, it's Marino, Havertz, and who else?
And Declan Rice, our set piece.
Oh yeah, we need we haven't even got the set piece taker on it.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's an episode for next time, mate.
Do you know what's funny? In this team that we've made, Raya's the shortest player. Maybe Lewis Skelly. Raya's the second shortest player.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's never going to happen. Nor do I actually want that ever to happen. That just looks horrific.
Let's make football fun again.
Mate, it's been a pleasure. It's been a fun episode, actually. That's really cheered me up at the end. We need to sort out a Football Manager episode when the new FM comes out. That would be good fun.
Yeah, that exactly what you just saw is what I'm going to be like on FM, by the way.
That'd be so funny. Just don't show each other any of our tactics, and then I
used to make my goalkeeper my pen taker in all European games just because I thought it'd be funny. And then my mates were like, "How's your keeper got 8 goals this season?" I was like, "Yeah, he's a good pen taker, isn't he?" That's just funny, isn't it?
John P, by the way, thank you for tuning in, mate. By the way, yeah, the chat's still not working. I will try and sort it out again. We had it working the last episode as well, and it's beginning of this episode just dropped out. I do not understand why. All I've got is Gunnar Millsy's first comment of "yeah, guys." That's it. But John P is saying that Victor needs to be the playmaker, and I think Marino, Rice, and Zubi would work better with Kai, but worry it doesn't complement it. Yeah, fairs.
Yeah, I see that.
Episode Was it 24 tonight? Episode 24 in the bag. Reece, where can people find you or block you?
No, don't block me, guys. Wackles Football. All the other ones. Wackles YT, Wackles FM, Wackles Analysis, Wackles F1, Wackles Wrestling.
Is that it?
There's also one that's just called Wackles that I'm uploading on. So forgot about that one.
Please like and subscribe, guys. Like, genuinely, it's wicked that we get to on a Friday just have these stupid chats. I love the fact that we went from actually analysing the press and how we start to, build up, and then it moved into playing essentially no midfield.
It'd be so funny if someone just skips like 10 minutes into the video, just what happened?
Yeah, exactly. But I love doing these, and to everyone that tunes in each week, like, thank you so much. Like, it really does mean a lot, because without you guys every week, it would just be me and Reece going mad on our own. We do appreciate it. And what I do want is everyone start putting some comments in after the show. Any questions that you want us to kind of address on each week's episodes, feel free to chuck them in there, or give us a shout on X, not Twitter, X.
Oh, I still got to say Twitter.
Yeah, I know. I can't get used to this, but someone called me an unk. They're like, Unk's saying Twitter. I'm like, and then we had
That's
this.
something I would say, but there's like literally in
Well, we just had the conversation, didn't we, earlier, when I said I've sent out a tweet, and I was like, what do we call it now? We can't. Do we call it a tweet? And you're like, just call it a tweet. It's like you're teaching Grandad, like, Grandad, just call it a tweet. It's fine.
I call out Unk behaviour all the time, but I don't think that's Unk. I think this is okay.
Okay, sound sweet. All right. We will be back next week. We might do a little review of the Man City game after, if we get a chance. But if not, we will catch you next week at about 8:30 on Friday, and we will catch you in the next one. Cheers, everyone. Enjoy your weekends, and enjoy Arsenal beating City. Yes, let's go.